we now have another gold TC in Michelle Wilson. Michelle, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Can you hear us loud and clear? Good, brilliant.
Yep.
Good to see you. Thanks for joining, Michelle. Listen, you've been with us 3.5 years. You did slightly longer at Thomas Cook's, and you came directly from Thomas Cook's to the other TC in Travel Counsellors. And we're delighted to have you. But how many years did you spend at Thomas Cook's?
26 years, from Pickford's right through to going places when Thomas Cook bought us out.
Wow. So in that time, you've had a couple of kids. You've had Joe, who's now 18. You've had Alicia, who's 15. And you've been supported by your wonderful husband. He's wonderful on two fronts. One, because he's your husband, but two, because he's from Northern Ireland.
Yep. Couldn't have done it without him, to be honest. He's been fantastic.
Oh, fantastic. And listen, at some point you decided to make that move to Travel Counsellors. And I believe Sam Nightingale and others helped you with that move. But tell us about that time and why you made the move.
Well, things had sort of gone steadily downhill at Thomas Cook. We'd gone from a shop that had 12 staff to just 2 of us on the counter some days. And for my own health, I just decided I'd had enough. I was working nearly every weekend and I wasn't seeing my family. I wasn't getting any thanks for it either.
And listen, you went from trainee to assistant manager up through the ranks to acting manager to manager. Went and had a couple of kids and came back and got more closely involved in the sales consultancy role with Cook. So you served your time and you met a lot of people who are now in the Travel Counsellors family. So hopefully it was a natural segue. But then you came into the business and you quickly became one of our top 10 Thomas Cook sellers.
Yeah, it's a bit embarrassing, isn't it?
No, it's you got to find your feet and you got to make it work. And you did what was right for you. And as Steve said, we're in the fortunate position that we take home a salary, but you're running a business and you have to run it as you see fit. But you have migrated that business and you have changed that business. And the $1 million question I'm going to ask you and what we're going to tease into and tap into is, what did you do to get to where you are now?
A lot of hard work. That's a lot of it. And a lot of ringing customers, keeping in touch with them, and just making sure they didn't forget that I was here, and just lots of Facebook, social media, everything just to grow the business. And it's hard at first. And the first 6 months is hard, but not one day did I think I want to go back to Thomas Cook. And the thing was, when I was at Thomas Cook, I used to get told off, not by my manager Sam, but the manager who took over after her, for being too honest with my customers. And they now all book with me.
Yeah, because you know what I've always found, lying profusely engenders trust.
Great business strategy.
Engenders trust, doesn't it?
If the hotel was horrible, I wouldn't sell them it. Yeah. If I wouldn't go somewhere, I wouldn't expect a customer to stay there. And unfortunately, I would tell them that. I'd say, I'm not going to show you that one, I'll show you a better one. And those customers have just followed me.
Listen, a quick indulgent moment. Sat in my very first TC experience was a TC gold dinner in Madame Tussauds. We had a TC session the next morning. I hadn't even joined. And Steve Byrne said to a room of people, he said, if you are faced with 2 options, option A, charge the customer, do what's right for you and make as much money as possible on that customer. Or option B, do exactly what is right for the customer and give them something where you maybe don't do as well. I came from an environment where it was A all day long. And everybody on queue shouted and screamed and raised their hands to B. B, we do what's right for the customer. And that's what builds trust. And we do, and we have, I can relate, come from environments where it is not the TC way, but the TC way is the right way. And listen, I had the privilege and the pleasure of presenting you with a car at our Glasgow conference for the best NPS score. So obviously when you're honest with your customers and you build trust, they pay you back in spades, and it results in you winning a car and becoming a gold TC. So top 10 Thomas Cook seller to be in a gold TC and driving off, and I believe your daughter convinced you to pick a BMW, driving off in a BMW. How do you feel now as you sit in this community? And what are you saying to your ex-colleagues and friends and family? What are you thinking and feeling now?
I'm just really, really happy. Not happy about the Thomas Cook situation, of course, but I couldn't have had the life that I've got working for Thomas Cook that I have now. So I'm really pleased that I made the move, and I know my family are as well. My daughter says she's got her mum back because she said her weekends were really boring because I was always working. Now I can take her out, and that's the nicest thing, I think. I get lots of family time. I might be working at home, but they still see me, and we still go out and do things which I couldn't have done when I was working at Cook's.
Folks at home, we spoke to someone who had 26 years in Thomas Cook. We spoke to someone who came up through the ranks. We spoke with someone who went against their grain in the way that they were working for them and their family. And we spoke to someone that followed the likes of Sam Nightingale and came to Travel Counsellors 3.5 years ago. We spoke to someone that depended on Thomas Cook customers. We spoke to someone that migrated their business, changed their business, and trusted this business, and as a result grown their own business to become a gold TC. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Michelle Wilson.